Hi, team. I'm Fitz Koehler, and welcome to the Fitzness Show. Today, I have another great guest, and I'm excited for you to participate in that conversation as per usual. Whether you're joining me from Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, feel free to engage in the conversation. Use that comment section, and we'll see it come. Look, one of my loyal viewers, it's Jade. Good morning, Jade, or good afternoon, I suppose. But before I get there, I want to remind you guys that next step for me is Buffalo Marathon at the end of June. I want you to come. We have some 5K bibs available and charity bibs. So register now, and then I'm going to give you a finish line hug. They might be mad about it, but I'm going to do it. And then I have the women's, it's the USATF Women's National Championship 6K in Ohio, and that is July 17th. And we have track athletes. We have like the superstars of running coming to run out there, but then we also have 1,000 spots for regular Jills and Janes and Juanitas and whoever you are to join us. So I'm super excited about that. That's going to be a great event. And again, I'll be passing out hugs. I think Ohio is hug approved. So moving on, I hope he's still in the studio. I have Brian Goodell here. Brian is the founder of BibBoards, which is a really innovative product within the endurance industry. And he's actually expanded beyond the endurance industry, which is pretty darn cool. But I'm looking to see if he's still in the studio. Brian, I can't see you. He just kind of disappeared. He's been having issues with his internet. So when I see his face, I will bring Brian in. In the meantime, tomorrow at noon, that's Friday, I think May 14th, Dina Castor will be joining me. And while Brian's on the business side of things, Dina's on the actual running side of things. Dina is an American Olympian. She actually holds the record for fastest marathon run by an American woman. And I believe that record still stands. And she's an absolute delight. So it's interesting. There's a bunch of running people on the running circuit, and you may be familiar, and so many of them have wonderful things to offer, and many of them are very fast runners. But not all very fast runners are great speakers, right? Or great writers. Those are two very different skills. And so sometimes I show up to an expo or a speaker series and I have to introduce a speaker. And sometimes I introduce a speaker and it falls way flat. If this super fast runner, very impressive athlete, not really impressive on a stage. And so on occasion that happens. And yeah, that's a little bit painful. It just is. But when Dina takes the stage, there's always standing room only. People pack her presentations and she knocks it out of the park. She's a very eloquent speaker. So looking forward to having Dina on the show tomorrow. And you, if you would like to run far and you would like to run fast, we'll certainly stop back by on Friday afternoon at noon. And you can ask questions of Dina. I have obviously a list of things I'd like to talk to her about, but I certainly think the conversations are far more interesting when you get involved. And yeah, I'm curious, but to an extent. So Dina Castor at noon tomorrow. And without further ado, I'm going to bring in the one and only Mr. Brian Goodell of BibBoards. Where'd you go?
Hey, sorry about that. Yeah, internet here in Northern California was a little bit choppy. So sorry about that.
That's okay. I always say I love /hate technology.
Oh yeah, right. I was just there. I was listening, and then all of a sudden I was out. So I just jumped off Wi-Fi and hopped right back in.
On your self-service. Awesome. So listen, we're going to talk about your business. We're going to talk about your athleticism, and we're going to talk about your fitness modeling. But usually I do lightning round at the end of a show, and I decided to flip it over, and we're going to do lightning round at the beginning of the show so people can get to know you a little bit beyond the other stuff. So for starters, who's your favorite band?
My favorite band?
Uh-huh.
Probably I like country. Brooks and Dunn.
Nice choice. Very nice choice. I'm a Garth Brooks fan, so we got the.
Yeah, he can't go wrong with that one either. Garth is
No.
amazing.
It was spectacular. If you were to only be able to listen to one song and only one song during a very long race, what song would that be?
One song. Let's see here. New York by Sinatra. You know, my mom was a performer and a singer. Once upon a time, she toured around with Sinatra, early 60s. And yeah, that's just, I love that song. So New York by Sinatra.
Well, that is a surprise. I'm always shocked with the things I hear from this type of questioning. I wouldn't have guessed that, but excellent choice. What's your favorite healthy food?
Healthy food right now, I would probably say, you know what I've been doing? I've been doing celery as an anti-inflammatory. So when I do my juice cleanses, I like to do cold press raw celery.
Okay.
Makes me feel after a good run, a good workout, I feel real clean. So celery.
Okay. Yeah, I like celery too, but I need the fiber. So I don't juice anything because I like fiber, but celery. What about, what's your favorite unhealthy food?
Unhealthy food?
Yeah.
Oh, I will run for cookies.
Any particular type?
Let's see here. So probably white chocolate chip macadamia nut.
Okay.
Soft batch, very
Nice.
chewy and warm.
I'm with you. I prefer the soft and chewy over the hard and crispy. Favorite vacation spot?
You know what? I'd have to say Kauai.
Nice. Nice. Do you know Floridians don't really go to Hawaii?
No, why is that?
Well, I mean, some Floridians do, but we're surrounded by some of the most beautiful beaches in the country, and it's so expensive to go over there. And then you start justifying it, and you're like, well, there's Daytona and Miami and Cocoa, so forget it. We'll just just stay.
Totally. I just got back from Miami last week. My brother lives out there, but yeah, you know what? I can see why you'd say that. It's definitely similar, hot, beachy. So do you go to Alaska?
Well, I think we probably do go to Alaska more than we go to Hawaii, but what do I know? This is just my own personal observation. I don't see a lot of Floridians going to Hawaii. Some of us do, but I would be happy to get there. It probably will be a race that brings me to Hawaii. All right. Who was your first Hollywood crush?
Wonder Woman.
Excellent choice. The Linda Carter variety?
The original, well, I don't know, is it the original? So I'm like early 80s. So
that's Linda Carter, yeah.
That would be her.
Total babe. Total babe.
What's cool is we did Wonder Woman BibBoards.
I remember those.
You know, it was something very special, right? Because I was like, I used to watch that when I couldn't. My mom used to say that I couldn't pronounce her name Wonder Woman. I would say Wumba Wumba when I was a little kid. So
that was
my first crush.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, when I was invited to announce Wonder Woman, it wasn't a yeah, it was a hell yeah. I'll be there.
Right. That's right.
Yep. Wonder Woman's a very special girl. All right, last question. If you were going to run one event and only one event for the rest of your life, which would it be?
One event I get to run for the rest of my life. You know, Beta Breakers.
Oh,
in
interesting.
San Francisco. It's a 50-plus-year-old event. It's a 10K. It's scenic, and a lot of people walk, run, and then a lot of people just kind of enjoy it. So outfits and the whole bit. It's actually the biggest race in California, and it's right here in San Francisco. So it's only about 45 minutes away. But yeah, it's quite the you spend a lot of time watching everybody else run too. So it's kind of one of these where you're just like, whoa, this is interesting. The outfits that you've seen, some people wear outfits and some don't. So
yeah,
I mean, and some don't wear anything at all. So I would that's where I really run fast. I try to run fast right there at that point.
I don't know. I might run slower. I'm going to have to put that race on my agenda.
You can run slower. Looking around.
have anyone naked at my start or finish line. So I feel like as a veteran announcer, I should have that. But
yeah, the next race, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to wear my costume is going to be a horse, and I'm going to wear the blinders. And so I'm just going to get going that way.
It's rarely the people you want to be naked that show up naked.
Yes.
Right.
That's exactly what happened.
Well, you know, it's good for them having the self-esteem and the gusto and the confidence for racing naked and loving their body as is, right?
Yeah, I ran with my wife and her sister, and then Rob Greenspoon, and we were just like, don't look, go. And then it was like, guys, did you see that? Wait, stop, slow down, look at that. And it was people watching and entertaining. So
that sounds super fun. If I don't announce it, I'd love to come run it. I think naked people are very fun. Okay, so moving on, Brian. So you and I met at the running event maybe 4 years ago now.
2017.
Okay.
Our freshman year, our kickoff. Like, you were like the first influencer I met when I went out there, and I saw you. I'm like, I need to know her. And then we chatted, and yeah, that 2017.
And then we fell in business love, and I think we were very supportive of each other, right?
Oh yeah, yes, I've been following you since.
So I was like, I love this guy and I love his product. So tell the world about BibBoards and how this came to be.
Yeah, so BibBoards came to be 2009. My business partner, Rob Greenspoon, out of Chicago. Rob is an avid marathoner runner. Rob was my patent attorney on a previous invention I had. And Rob told me in 2006, he said, you know, we established a good friendship. I'd been on panels at some of the home and houseware shows, CES, as kind of a Shark Tank advisor. And Rob said, when I invent something or come up with an idea, I want you to help me bring it to life. And fast forward 2009, he reached out and said, hey, came with this idea that will eliminate safety pins. He was in the Chicago Marathon stall getting ready for the event, and he's fumbling with safety pins at 5:45 in the morning, freezing. His hands were shaking, and he's thinking he's going to stab himself in the chest with the safety pin. And he said, there's got to be a better way, a fastener that has, you know, a front part and a female part that you can secure your bib down. And that was kind of the first idea. When he reached out to me in 2009, I had just kicked off with Groupon and Living Social. I was kind of advising and helping them learn, navigate the product world. So I was busy, and I said, you know, Rob, he goes, when I get my intellectual property, my patent, will you help me? So again, fast forward 2016, he reached out and he said, Brian, hey, remember that idea, the bib fastener? And I said, yeah, I do. And he said, well, I got a patent. You want to help me? And I said, let me ask around. And I reached out to, well, first my wife, who ran track and field in high school. She says, you know, honey, I think that's amazing. I hate safety pins. Every track shirt, it's just every time I ran an event, I had to put safety pins in there. So I asked a friend of mine, Charlie Dohoney. Charlie was on my college football team at Idaho State, and he was working at events.com. And I reached out and I told him, I said, hey, what do you think about this concept? And he said, I think it's great. I said, no. And he said, nobody likes safety pins. Rob's original idea had to be tweaked. And that's where I come in. I'm co-inventor, co-founder. I made it so it didn't actually puncture, damage the shirt. So when Charlie had told me that nobody liked the holes, we came out with basically the concept, no pins, no holes, no magnets. And I went back he went back and asked another gentleman in the Ironman who is also an announcer. I think you know Mike Riley and Mike.
Of course, Mike Riley. Love Mike Riley.
Yeah, right. And Mike said, you know, everybody hates safety pins. My Ironman women don't like safety pins, etc. This is great. I think it's fantastic. And so.
And pause for a minute. For anyone who's not in the running industry or endurance sports, you have to attach your race bib, which is your number, to your shirt. And during the process, you're constantly poking your fingers, you're poking your chest, your stomach. Poke everything. And then they also tend to tear your shirts. You know, it's a moving object as you bounce, and it ends up getting pulled. And so any shirt you put a safety pin is likely to be a goner at the end of the race. So, and then they fall on the floor, people step on them. There's a bunch of burdens that come along with safety pin usage.
Yeah.
So,
and to be the consensus. I mean, it's so much that we actually put the safety pin with a line through it with a little blood on the end because of it. And yeah, so 2017, I told Rob, I said, you know what, I'm really interested. I'm in. And so I basically took the company from concept all the way through to fruition to our first event, to our first sale. And yeah, and now we're in it would be our senior year. I'm going to call it our junior year because COVID year was really our junior year, but we met our freshman year.
We did meet our freshman year, and I just thought it was genius right away. And so not only are they safe for your fingers and your body, they're safe for your shirts, and they're safe for the environment because they're not, I mean, some of these race organizations have to order 100,000 safety pins or more. And then where do they go? They go in the trash. And I'm not a green nut, but that seems a little wasteful, right?
Yeah, totally it is. And we are recyclable. We are usable. It's a special premium product that we designed. It's called Nylon 6. It's a code 6. And we did some testing. 99.9% of every city approves this for recyclability. We are part of that sustainable movement. Safety pins do get left all over race courses. You can go to any race now and you'll find them just littered throughout. And so city and city planners, event planners, et cetera, can use this. And the best part about, I think, this too is that people are able to express themselves on it. We print on demand here in San Ramon, and people put their friends, their cats, their last race crossing the finish line. They put their husbands, their wives, their kids, something that inspires them. Grandparents, it's just really cool. And so with that, it's not littered all over the course, right? They're keeping them and they're wearing them ongoing. So yeah, on top of the sustainability side.
They're very handy. So this is some of the designs. This was one of the original ones he sent me a few years ago, but to show people how they work. Do you want to show them how it works since you're,
yeah, absolutely. So we actually turned green packaging too. So this is 100% recyclable. It's called Desert Storm packaging. And we did that too. So when you get this and hand it out, it's not waste and it's a reusable card. But yeah, let me show you these. Simply just pop them off. I'll do it right here. It takes a second here. Snaps and locks. This one's actually for Abbott World Marathon Majors. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah. No, we can't.
Yeah. So, and then unsnap, and you can see though, there's no holes.
Yeah. And there's not even puckers in your shirt. It just leaves your clothing alone.
Yeah. And then you can use this to snap right back on the card. And we have, we have so many different, I mean, I have this one here. It's kind of one of my favorites. Little dog, someone's dog.
Oh, very cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I have so many runners that they get their own set. So sometimes a race will buy a set of BibBoards for every athlete to have in their swag bag. And then, quite often people just go to BibBoards.com and they pick out their favorite pre-designed board, or they can custom order with their dog's photo. But yeah, I was at the finish line at Gasparilla the other day, and I had so many athletes show up for hugs wearing their BibBoards.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'd love to see it out there. So it's so interesting is when we first entered, and we're just hoping that someone would like them, if somebody would buy them, and would they leave us a good review? Can I get one 5-star review? And I remember we did our first expo was Beta Breakers, and there was 50,000 people coming through the expo. Actually, I think it's like closer to 70,000. And we stood there, me, Rob, and my wife, just with our little booth. We had some emojis, some poop emojis, some cool guys, and we had like 10 designs. And all the participants were coming through the expo, and they were walking by our booth. And I'm like, here's the moment, Rob. Oh my goodness, did we start something really cool? And I was scared. I was literally. It's like I was shaking. They walked up and they were looking, they go, oh my goodness, like I hate safety pins. And so I sat there for 3 days and just listened to I hate safety pin stories, and people were just coming up with, what was cool is everyone was sharing really fun, cool ideas and concepts and things that they like to say, I thought you said rum, or keep calm and run on. So it was, will we sell one? But we ended up we sold a lot, and it was like almost, I don't know, maybe over 1,000.
It's wonderful.
Wow, it's
Huge
really cool. Yeah.
opening weekend. And so you ended up going beyond just selling to the individual. So you sell a ton to individuals online right now and at events when they exist. But
Yeah.
what race have you done business with?
Oh, wow. Yeah. So we on the One Star, we actually I just got my shopper approved, which is a Google approved company that you can't alter the ratings. We just hit 17,000 and a little over 17,000 reviews, and we're getting our 14,500 5-star badge. We get a badge that we get to put on our website, and you can share it on social that says you actually have authorized 5-star reviews that we can't make up. So it's really cool.
17,000?
Yeah, 14,000. Yep.
That speaks volumes. That's actually huge. I'm sorry, with my book, I've got some reviews, but I don't know, 14,000. That's very impressive.
I just think in the world today, everybody kind of leans on, and I do it too when I buy stuff. Like, what do they say on Amazon? What do they say on Google? It's like when you go to a restaurant, you want to make sure that gets good reviews. So kind of the same concept. So I'm big on that. But yeah, we do provide to races. And I remember, are we going to get into one race? Well, one race see the value in this, and it happened where people and participants were showing up, and a lot of the times they know the race director or they know the race announcer, right? And so they would go and say, hey, why are you giving me safety pins? You guys should really be giving out BibBoards, and here's what they are, and you guys can put your race logo on. So yeah, we do provide races. So like Run Disney is one of the biggest, St. Jude's, I'll name some of the bigger ones, and then we also have smaller races as well. So I mean, Michigan State to Wonder Woman to Abbott World Marathon Majors, Track Shack, Fit to Run. We're just doing some for Mercedes. There's a Florida race there.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's Miami, right?
Miami. Yeah. Miami corporate run, actually. But yeah, there's so many. I think we just got over 1,000 races. It's
incredible. That's incredible. What a great small business, like an American success story. This is the little guy that everybody should be supporting in the boundaries of this USA, right?
Yeah, we're still we're a little company here in San Ramon, and we have a little office. We have our print machines here, and pre-pandemic we actually, we had a team of 7. Post-pandemic we've leaned out. But yeah, we're still a small company, and really looking forward to, and I'm seeing events coming back in person. So
yeah, it looks like we're going to have a very busy fall.
I heard, I start to see all these events popping up, and I'm like, each time I see one, I'm like, yes. Of course, California's on the tail end, but June 15th, apparently it's California Coalition of Endurance Sports. They're doing some amazing things and working to get out there again. So yeah, I can't wait.
If nothing else, come to Florida. We are active in all regards. So we talked about your snaps being great for race bibs. Now you're using them in other ways. Where else are you using your snaps?
So same technology. We're an endurance sports brand. We are here to eliminate safety pins. Our goal is to eliminate 200 million safety pins a year, right? And help events become more sustainable. So what we saw right in the pandemic, January, February, March, I started seeing a lot of participants and people that have used for endurance races, and it happened to be some surgeons, a couple doctors, nurses, some frontliners were using BibBoards as a mask, snap, and hook. So you hook them onto your hat right here. I probably should have brought one, but you hook them here, and instead of the mask tugging and pulling on your ears, you hook it up onto your hat, so it alleviates ear pressure. Nice. And actually, you can just unhook it, and it hangs, and then you can rehook it to the other side of the BibBoard. And what we started seeing is there was a surgeon. He reached out. And he said, "Hey, Brian, I think he was an Ironman." He goes, "Hey, I've been doing this for 6 months in surgery," and I was like, brilliant. Went on Instagram and followed the hashtag Save Your Ears, Sore Ears. And it was a real thing in the pandemic with everybody wearing one. I'm like, wow. I mean, I just started seeing everybody sewing buttons, and we had a group reach out to us called Sew Away Corona. It was 10,000. It was 10,000. I think they said 10,000 ladies is the term that they used. 10,000 ladies were sewing, headbands. All of a sudden, I got another call from a gentleman who said, my wife just sewed her 500th headband. She's donating to the local hospital and her hands are bleeding and I'm not going to let her do it. And he goes, I've been using your product for races. We're using them to hook our mask straps up there. And I said, oh goodness, this is something serious. So we created 4 ears, and 4 ears was designed to help people that were wearing masks that didn't like it tugging and making their ears raw. So yeah, and then that evolved into BB snaps, and we've actually we did probably maybe about 100,000, and we donated to hospitals. So Cedars-Sinai, we did Boeing Airlines, some of the airlines that were trying to get going, Kaiser, etc. So yeah,
incredible. That's absolutely incredible. So earlier today, when this announcement for this interview appeared on Facebook, one of my athletes, Jessica Garan, she posted a picture of her in her scrub hat with your BB snap, and that she's been using them to hold on to her mask all year. So bravo. And then isn't there a third place you're using them?
golf snaps.
Okay, tell me about golf snaps, because that I didn't really understand. I'm a mediocre golfer, Brian, surprisingly.
Yeah, I bet you're better than I am.
Mediocre is a generous statement, but go on.
So golf snaps, same product, same patented technology, different application. So when you enter, you get to the green, and what usually happens, your ball's sitting on the green, it's there with some other balls, and everybody needs a ball marker. There's one that goes on your hat, there's a magnet, there's a belt buckle one. But what happens is the ones that the golf course give you, they have little logos on them. They're little plastic pieces. So just picture almost something like this, and you put it on the ground to mark your ball, so that your ball's not in the way. And they give them out for free. But what I've noticed is that they're all over every golf course. They're sitting there in the parking lot when people are done. They just end up being litter. And there's no way to accessorize or keep them. So you walk up to the to putt, and everybody's like, hey, if you don't have the one on your hat, what if you're not wearing a hat? What if your belt buckle? You possibly might not be wearing a belt buckle. You might be wearing a skirt. You don't have one. And so everybody, hey, does anybody have a ball marker? And people use pennies and dimes, and it's just kind of one of those things that there's no way to access one and have available. But ours, golf snaps, allows you to express yourself, wear it, pop it off, pop it back on, put it down. And then put it on your golf card.
You could just save it on your shirt, right? So this is one of mine. You could wear it just as a fun accessory too, right?
Same exact thing. Yeah. So when you walk up there, it's always there for you. It snaps on. I actually started testing it out and gave it to the varsity girls golf team here in San Ramon. And it's a family friend. I said, hey, I got this idea. What do you think? And she goes, give me some and I'll give them to my girls. We'll see what they say. They'll be honest with me. And I gave them to them. They all came back and they said, oh, I want one to match my Lululemon top. Do you have blue? Do you have pastels? Do you have sprinkles? Do you have donuts? Like, I was like, they wanted them. And so I was like, well, okay, that's a good sign. And then I reached out to a friend who I grew up with, played golf with Tiger Woods at Stanford. He was actually quote unquote better than Tiger at Stanford for a moment there, Joel, and he works for a golf company. He said, this is really cool. Send me some. And just started reaching out. So we launched about 30 days ago, and there's already orders coming in. It's really cool.
That's wonderful. So what's the most exciting part about being an entrepreneur, an inventor?
The most exciting part about being an entrepreneur, I don't know, maybe I think it's kind of like running, you get what you put out of it, right? If you get a good time and you've worked hard and you've trained and you've done your study and you can perform really well. And I think the exciting part about me is that I like the fact that I like to see my product out there, and people, like the example you just gave, Fitz, was, you were at an event, you saw someone come up and they had them on. Like I'm on Instagram all the time, swiping through all the runners out there and all the hashtags, and I'll see someone and they're wearing it. I'm just swiping and I make the picture bigger, and there it is. That's what's fun. Is it was once concept, once idea, and now it's real and it's brought to life, and people are using it and they like it. And so that I think that's it, right? Is I like to see it out there. It came to fruition.
Absolutely. And then what's the hardest part about what you do?
Hardest part about what I do is I have to do everything. Like concept, idea, drawing, schematics, engineering, marketing, funding. You got to. We funded this project on our own, so I think the hardest thing is letting everybody know that you actually don't have one star and you have people that like you and that it's real and it's basically the education. Like, what does it do? A lot of people see it and they go, oh, it's a magnet. And we're not a magnet. Magnets have demagnetized timing chips. Magnets stick to refrigerators, stick to each other. They cover up your bib. And so a lot of times, one of the hurdles we have is being mistaken for something. Sometimes they think we actually go make a hole. Oh, I get it. It goes through and it punctures a hole like a button. And that's so education, I would say, on what it does and how it saves you and how it helps you.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I've enjoyed watching you grow over the past few years from I had this idea. Now it's everywhere. And I wish you could see what I see, because I am at the start lines and finish lines and I see product everywhere. Especially when I get down on the ground on foot to greet people. It's pretty cool.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I just did, here's some fun ones. I'm sorry. I just get so excited when I see new designs come through. Run happy.
Fun.
That's Brooks's slogan. Yeah, there's just so many. We just did some for a lot of. This is Michael J. Fox Foundation.
Okay, that's hard to see, but I trust you.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I don't know if that was the final one, but that was one of them. But yeah, a lot of founded juvenile diabetes, ALS, St. Jude's. Yeah, I mean, there's so many. Ronald McDonald Foundation.
Great cause.
Yeah, so many causes, and we actually did special pricing for them. We just no art setup, shipping up to them for free. Yeah, it's nonprofit pricing, and yeah, it's just there are just so many that came across, and we did Special Olympics because it's user friendly, so you can give it to your my 5-year-old puts them on when we do Run for Education.
You don't have to worry. Your little guy being coached.
Yeah, another mother runner, Moms Run This Town, Girls on the Run. It was, it's just, it's non-invasive, so you don't worry about your kids stabbing themselves with safety pins too.
Yeah, it's a fantastic product. So I'm going to step away from this. Before I do, though, I want to tell everyone that Brian has offered discount code Fitzness to all of my viewers and your friends too. So as wherever you are on the internet, I have BibBoards.com, discount code Fitzness. How much do they save if they buy using discount code Fitzness?
$1 million. It's yours.
$1 million. He's sending it.
Come on. I'm gonna make it live here because the internet. I'm having problems with my
after the.
Okay, give me a little bit, but what I have to look at it again, but I forget the amount it was.
Yeah,
I think 20%.
Okay, that's a good discount. 20% is great. Thank you, Brian.
Sure, no problem.
Of
Actually,
course.
It's been used a lot with all the people that out there that know you.
Good. I like to hear that. Is it still alive from when you originally created it, or do you have to go back and the expiration date?
You're always alive.
Okay, good. Yes, I am.
Yes, no, I believe so. I'm like 99.9%.
Okay, all right. Fitzness. So there's a snapping sound. Is that coming from me or you?
I'm here. No, I don't hear anything on my end.
All right, a little tapping. So you're a fitness model.
Yeah, in my younger years, I try to stay healthy now, but yeah, I did quite a few different things. though. I did a Healthy Hits handbook for a doctor, Carl Knopf, who's wrote 300 publications. I was doing the 300, the movie 300 was one of them. Yeah. And so ended up doing healthy hits.
300 what? What did you do with that?
What's that?
What did you do with the movie 300?
So there was a book, The 300 Workout, and yeah, so that was one of them. But Dr. Carl Knopf also did a whole series, in which I love this, is because healthy hips, I believe hips are some of the most important things I think that are neglected. It's really hard to, and it helps running and performance. I played college football. I played college basketball. Hips are so important. At 44 years old, I still play with the young college kids in basketball. And I think I've been doing hip stretches and flexibility movement, but it all came from this book. It's interesting enough. My father was 6'9". He was a professional baseball player and a pitcher. He had hip problems, and his dad had hip problems, who was also 6'3" in a basketball and played professional baseball. But hips, I ended up being a fitness model in a Healthy Hips handbook. And some of my friends give me crap for it. They're like, Mr. Hips, oh, you've got good hips. But it's amazing the stretches that you can do in there for mobility that help tremendously. So yeah, I did that. I did Ed Hardy. Remember Ed Hardy?
I do. It's the brand of like skater stuff, right? Tell me about Ed Hardy. Refresh me.
Yeah, it kind of looks like skater-ish. Ed Hardy was like what all the celebrities were wearing, all the NFL. It was probably 12 years ago, 10 years ago. Yeah, look it up. But it's really colorful, artsy stuff. But yeah, Hobie from Baywatch brought me in. Remember Hobie, the little kid?
I do not.
Hobie, okay. Yeah, I'm taking myself back here a little bit. But anyway, he was running Ed Hardy's like fashion. So I did Ed Hardy. I did Shutterfly. I don't know if you know Shutterfly. And back in the day, I was on Disney packaging. So if you ordered something from Disney, it was like, yeah, did some Shutterfly stuff. But yeah. And
pretty awesome. That's a good resume. I didn't know it was going to be so full, your fitness modeling career.
Yeah, just being in football and trying out and playing in the NFL, I think by default you have to be fit. So I took it serious.
Pretty in the face. You're very pretty in the face.
Oh, thank you. I've actually since I've broken my nose a couple times because I got into mixed martial arts. But yeah, it was fun. My friends always give me hard time, Zoolander and the whole, kind of poking at me. But yeah, I think by default, being in sports, playing college and trying out for the pros, you have to be lean and long. And I ran with our sprint team in college and whatnot. So for track and field, and you just burn calories and look the part, I guess.
Well, you know what? There's a lot of really, really fit athletes out there, but not all of them get chosen to be fitness model for books and catalogs. So there's something above. So where did you play football?
So I went to Texas Tech University first, and I don't know if you know Texas Tech. Like Patrick Mahomes went there, and Baker Mayfield before Oklahoma, and Cliff Kingsbury, the coach of the Cardinals, Wes Welker, Danny Amendola for the Patriots. And then I left and went to Idaho State University and finished out there. They play in the Big Sky Conference, so we play a lot of Fox Sports Northwest games on TV. But yeah, Idaho State, the Bengals, the first college dome ever built. So an indoor football dome that any game has ever played was built in Idaho State. It's Holt Arena. So
that's a lot of money.
Yeah, a lot of money. What was cool though is when you go in here, I'll show you something if I can turn my camera. But yeah, that's jersey and helmet. Sorry if I'm making you dizzy here, but
no. What's so interesting, Brian, is coming from. I played soccer when I was a kid, but then I guess I was a young grown up, but I was a kickboxer, and people were like, "You're so good," and I was good, but there were so few people playing the sport, so you really can't hang your hat on this microscopic population. Like, I'm really good compared to what? How many size ones women do you know, and then how many of them are fighting? So maybe I was good, but compared to what pool of people, it's hard to be real braggadocious about that. But with American football, there's a big chunk of little boys who want to play. And so at some point, even making a high school team means you've got some sort of, and then the fact that you can go on and play in college at a high level is very impressive because it's a massive pool of people that would have killed to have your slot on that team.
Yeah, it is. I think I started playing my junior year. The football coach saw me play basketball, which I played 1 year of college basketball as well. But yeah, being around it with my family. My brother played professional baseball. I have a cousin that played professional baseball. My brother's the Marlins and the Braves, and just being around it, I think you learn to appreciate it, and you compete at a little, against each other, so it makes it tougher. But I coach high school football now. I coached a travel high school all-star football team during the pandemic. California football was shut down, and a lot of the country was open up, and teams were playing. So I see it now. What's really cool is I get to coach kids, and I get to give back, and they're learning stuff that I learned a little later. So it's really cool. I was very fortunate to have some really good coaches. Fred Bolitnikoff Jr. was one of my coaches. I don't know if you know he was a Florida State. He's a Florida State guy.
All right.
So the Heisman Award is the number 1 award. The number 2 award is the Bolitnikoff Award, which is kind of the best receiver in college football. I didn't earn the award. Don't mistake what I'm saying here, but he was one of my coaches. I had James Franklin from Penn State. He's the head coach at Penn State now. I've been fortunate to have some Mike Madden, John Madden's sons. These guys have all helped me shape who I am, and I've had really good coaches, and I've listened, and now I have I coach this youth football team too, and organization, and it's amazing. I give these kids stuff that I learned when I was 17, 18, 19, and they're learning when they're 10, 11, and 12. So they get a head start. So it's really cool.
Yeah. Well, the games do count. My Brian Kilmeade wrote a book about 12 years ago called The Games Do Count, and he talks about all of these politicians, notable people, and how sports really impacted their life, even if they didn't go on to become professional athletes. But it's been interesting with the pandemic how, for the past 30 years, the world was saying, get off the computer, get the kids outside, get them off the TV. And then all of a sudden people thought, oh no, we're going to isolate our kid. We're going to stick him behind a computer, and we're going to isolate them from all the good things in the world. All of a sudden art class didn't matter, and sports didn't matter, and music didn't matter, and math barely mattered, and teachers didn't matter. Teachers were like, hands off. It's too risky. No, you said for all these years. But I truly believe that sports are where people learn most of their hard and productive life lessons. Forget being a humble winner. Learn to lose, learn to bounce back, learn to take your risk and become a leader and a great follower. And I'm glad you're doing that. It's so vital. And I think our athletes, I know there's statistical evidence to say, high school and youth athletes go on to have so much more success than people who are not involved.
Yeah, great point. I saw in December, we had 14 schools here. So all the way up from, like, if you've heard of De La Salle, it's our kind of powerhouse out here, through Pittsburgh. It's where we had all these kids, and through my high school, 14 of them. And so when we built this team, they were right smack dead middle of the pandemic, and everybody's sitting in front of their phones and doing nothing. So when we launched this team to go down south and play Southern California and play in this all-star kind of league, the parents came to us and said, you have no idea how amazing this is, and what you guys are doing for our kids, because our kids we had some of them that weren't doing very well mentally. And they're missing their senior year. They're not going to get recruited. Football's done. Their life was over once they knew it. Their hopes and dreams are now gone. And so it was really cool to see them come out, and when they were going through that, and they got to play, they played a 10X. They performed at a 10X because they couldn't believe. You should have saw them hanging out with their friends. They hadn't seen anybody in a year. And so it was really, and meeting new people, but they came out and they were much more motivated. They performed at a higher level. But yeah, I think I've seen this whole transition in the sports, and I coach. It's funny, I coach a lot. I coach a varsity basketball team right now, and we're cramming in like 18 games. We play tonight actually, and Cal High varsity here, but it's the same thing. They're just so excited, and we're still in California. We're still on the tail end and coming out here, and I've got to wear a mask at the game, and so. But it's really good to see them playing with each other, getting out, and life is. It's funny because the Warriors got to play, but the high school kids didn't get to play. Cal Berkeley got to play, but the high school kids didn't get to play. Now they are playing.
Because that's science, Brian. That's science said that's how it should go.
Yeah, yeah, and running, right? This is a sport where everybody wants to be in your face. Football is a sport where you're supposed to be close to a person. Well, running, can't we? Our job's to run away from everybody and get
Right.
distance.
Well, it's been very interesting to see the CDC releasing the accurate information that you're actually highly unlikely to catch anything outdoors. So I'm trying not to be bitter that our industry was obliterated for 400 days because of faulty fake lies, unscientific nonsense. But yeah, finally the science said, hey, Boston Marathon, you should have taken place. There was absolutely no threat to anybody. Sorry, whoops.
Whoops. Yeah.
Whoops.
I mean, we could spend definitely a lot of time on that. But yeah, the science says that during that football camp that we were traveling, and not one person got COVID. Sleeping in the same Airbnb, buses, airplanes, games for nearly 2 months, not one case of COVID.
And who pays the price? You know, who can you go back and say, now here's the consequence for lying to us for youth sports. Forget the pros can handle themselves. It's the youth sports. It's these everyday healthy people that you and I work so hard to serve. They're the ones who've been suffering. So, this is not carried away, but I'm glad you're back with those kids, and your influence beyond just athletically, I'm sure, is benefiting them, especially if you're sharing your entrepreneurship and your innovations. You'll leave a mark, a good one on them.
Yeah, it's amazing. My kids are little. I've got a 3-year-old, a 7-year-old, 9-year-old. It's far away from varsity. And we don't get paid, and I'm okay with that. It's donating time, but I just like being around them. I like that they're glowing and out, and I get to give back. I truly enjoy coaching. I probably would have been coaching in college by now. I actually had opportunities to coach when I was in college, to stay and coach, but I also was inventing in college too. So I've always wanted to invent and create. So here we are.
Here you are. A successful inventor and entrepreneur. So what is your advice for somebody else who has this grand idea in their head and they don't know what to do with it?
Yeah, I always say this, and I get presented concepts and ideas and inventions all the time. And it's not as hard as you think. It's actually easy. The tools that they have, if you have an invention, you can go on to the usapto.gov website, the government website, and find out if your idea has been out there. So you can literally log on, check and see it, type in, put in the search tool. I invented a $10 bill that floats and creates 10 more $10 bills. See if somebody's invented it. And if they haven't, just get some drawings and make it come to life. And when you have the drawings, it's now real. I mean, I'm talking a piece of paper drawing, you drawing, even if you're not a good drawer. The engineers today can create, I could draw something on this piece of paper right here, right now, and send it to, I can do it really quick. I can email it over to my factories, and they'll have me back something within about 2 weeks. So can you. It's then before you do that step, you probably want to find out, with all the search tools, is it something that people out there, and is it lacking? Is it alive? Is it on Amazon? No. Is it on Google Shopping? No. Maybe it is, and it's $100, and you can make it for $25. Then you have an opportunity, to create this. So it's not, you can do it. It sounds crazy, but it's easier than people think.
Yeah, I agree. I think USPTO is definitely a place people should go, not only for their product, but for searching names. So you can step on somebody else's brand. But yeah, you can find a lot of information if you look for it, right?
Yeah, it helped that Rob, my business partner, is a patent attorney and trademark attorney. One of probably the best, nicest guy too, most honest guy I know. But yeah, I mean, a quick search. I'm working on something new here. I'll tell you maybe on the next one. That's gonna, yeah. If you've ever wore a pair of Crocs that have gibbets, just think kind of something like that. But for something.
So this is the thing, Ryan. I'm so embarrassed. I just put this on my feet. I keep them because they're so cute. Is that already patented?
So one of my advisors is a gentleman who he started a company called Pop Sockets, and
Yes. What? Your friend owns Pop Sockets?
doesn't own it. He was basically the guy who took them from concept ideas to I think they were the fastest growing company, 1819, number one cell phone tech accessory. But Bob, he's a runner. He runs 150-mile races. I take my hat off to him, but he actually knows them as well. The people, they sold to Crocs actually for $20 million. Wow. And those are back super, super popular, by the way, right now.
Yeah, they are. I heard my kids lean on your Pop Socket the other day. They were trying to film something. That's very cool. I had one on my last phone. I need to get one on my new phone.
I have a lot here.
Genius. It's I mean, it's the little things. And then obviously the rest of us are like, why didn't I think of that? So I love a good inventor and invention. That's cool.
I see a lot of times say, I thought of that back in the day and I wrote it on a napkin and I threw it in a drawer. Well, go pull that napkin out and bring it to life. And if I can ever offer any value to anyone, advice, I'm always open to help.
I love it. Well, you're one of my favorite business people in this industry, Brian. I'm so glad we met at the running event in 2017. That all worked out, didn't it?
Yeah, it's so funny because I'm wearing the shirt today, and it's back 2022 February, Florida, Orlando, coming to you. I can't wait to see everyone.
I will be there. Yeah, can't wait. Hug all the people. We have a lot of fun, don't
you hug or you?
I know.
I wish we had a hugger counter for you, like a step counter. What if it's like 10?
Broken it.
It's all to be continued, like millions.
Yeah, hug counters can't keep up with me. Germs, no germs. I demand the hugs. If you don't want to hug me, you don't have to hug me. Most people don't refuse.
I love it.
All right, guys. So once again, it's BibBoards.com. Put that in the comment section in all outlets. If you use discount code Fitzness, like there and there, you'll save 20% on BibBoards. Will that also work for beating snaps and the golf?
Works for everything. And here something we lowered our prices. Okay. Yep, to $10. Used to be $12.99.
Much better.
Yeah, $10.
$8?
It's only $10.
That's a great deal. That means you got to buy 2 sets, not just one.
You got to buy 2, but it'll work for anything on the website. Custom design. You upload your picture, whatever you want, and that'll work there too.
All right. Well, you are the best, Brian, and I can't wait to see you soon. Thank you so much for coming and sharing all the scoop on the product and your history.
Thank you as well for having me.
And besides your website, where can people find you?
Besides my website, where can you find me? I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram. You follow our Instagram or Facebook pages, BibBoards. We'd love to have you there too. Hit me up.
Follow along Brian at BibBoards and all the places, and then I'm at these places. Don't just follow. Say hello. Say I listened to your show and I wanted to say hi because I'd much rather have friends than followers. And then tomorrow at noon, Dina Castor will be here. She's an Olympian. She's an American record holder in the marathon. She's awesome. So have a great weekend, Brian. Thanks for your time. And for everyone else, get to work. Bye, team.
Thank you. See you, everyone.
Peace out.